Hello and welcome to the Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friend. If you've been looking for a podcast geared towards your growth, self-awareness, navigating your brain's daily mind drama, and deep inner work to become your highest and best self, you are in the perfect place. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. Hope that everybody is hanging in there with all of this COVID-19 stuff that we are battling right now. We are in, week 3, week 4. I've honestly lost count. I've lost track of my days. And I think that this entire experience is such an emotional roller coaster. One minute you're maybe thankful that you have some time to take that extra nap, to do some projects around the house, to just kind of chill out, catch up on the things you've always wanted to do. And then the next minute you feel like you're going to go stir crazy and you don't even know what to do with yourself. Then you get into this low anxiety ridden depression because you're just like, when is life going to return back to normal? So what we're going to talk about today is just being okay, sitting with the emotions that you have and really just leaning into them, because I'm seeing a lot on social media of people that feel like, again, they're crawling out of their skin. They don't know what to do with themselves. And I want you to know that there's really no right way to be right now. And there's no wrong way to be right now. And that you really have to honor your feelings, honor what emotions you're having in the moment that they're happening. And the thing about it is, you guys, is emotions are temporary. Emotions can change on a moment-to-moment basis. You can feel angry one minute, sad the next minute, joyful the next minute, full of gratitude the minute after that, on and on and on and on. You can choose a different emotion, okay? But the thing about it is that this was something that I wrote on my Facebook post today, is that I think the issue isn't that people are experiencing negative emotion. Like, that's not something to, be ashamed of if you felt depressed and full of anxiety and you just feel like you're not yourself. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing about it is that people get really hard on themselves because they have this in the back of their mind, this subconscious beliefs that life is supposed to be happy all the time and most of the time. And truth be told, that's just not the case. You're not going to feel happy most of the time. Now, we know that thoughts contribute to the way that we're feeling. If you've been listening to this podcast, since the start, our emotions are always a result of what thoughts are popping into our mind, whether that's a conscious thought or a subconscious thought. And so if you're feeling negative emotion, you really just need to, one, lean into it, feel it. Like if you're feeling anxiety, lean into it. And when I say lean into it, I mean stop resisting it. This is where we get ourselves into trouble, you guys. We resist it. And again, we have this story, I'm not supposed to feel anxiety right now. I'm not supposed to feel depressed right now, or I shouldn't feel sad. This is the 3rd day in a row I felt sad and I need to be happy for my family. No, you need to feel and honor what you're feeling in the moment that it's happening. What you resist persist. What you're trying to run away from will come back later. So if instead of, feeling sad and then thinking, I can't show my sadness right now, my kids are watching, or I can't be sad right now, I've already been sad for 2 days in a row, I have to pull myself together. While you might feel that that's very helpful, what is also incredibly helpful is to lean into that sadness, okay? That means give yourself a few minutes to just really feel it. Feel how sad you are, Okay, express whatever emotion that you need to express. Say out loud whatever thoughts you're thinking. There's thoughts that are coming up that are making you feel sad. Maybe it's that you feel trapped. Maybe it's that you missed your family because you're not able to see them because we're all supposed to be, quarantining ourselves and social distancing. Maybe it's that you just miss girl time with your friends, and doing, seeing your friends online or in a Marco Polo app is not the same as getting together for maybe weekly or monthly dinners that you do with them. And, maybe you're sad that your kids aren't, they weren't able to finish out their school year. They weren't able to do the fun activities. They, for some kids, this was a really big deal. It was like the end of their, 8th grade year, the end of their high school year, this, the start of college and everything, or the end of college as a senior. And that can be very frustrating for a lot of people to witness other people going through negative emotion, which in turn can make you sad. So what it all comes down to, you all, is can you give yourself 5, 10, 15 minutes, a half an hour, instead of thinking all the thoughts like, I shouldn't be feeling this way, I shouldn't be sad, I've already been sad for X amount of days or X amount of hours, just being like, I'm sad and here's why. Here's everything that I'm thinking right now. This feels very heavy to me. It feels very depressing to me. It's causing me a lot of anxiety. I miss normal life. I miss this. I miss that. And just allow it to be there. Don't try to fix yourself. Don't try to talk yourself out of it. Don't think you need to be any other way. Just lean in and feel it. Because the faster that you can do that, the faster that you're going to come out on the other side feeling a different emotion, and more than likely an emotion that you actually get excited to feel, like joy and gratitude. So this is something that I've had to practice most of my life, and especially something that has been useful for me ever since I was introduced to the world of coaching, because I used to experience a lot more anxiety all the time about all the things. And the reason that I had a constant debilitating anxiety that just made me feel like I was having an out-of-body experience was because I was resisting it a lot. I didn't want to have the anxiety. I didn't want it to be there. I didn't want to feel like I wasn't normal, quote unquote normal, whatever that is. Who even knows what normal is, by the way? But I didn't want to have the anxiety. I was judging myself for feeling anxious, especially if I didn't understand why I was feeling anxious. I just had all of these judgment thoughts around, I shouldn't have anxiety right now. I can't have anxiety right now. There's way too many things to be doing. There's way too many things I need to get done. And my mentality, I've told you guys over and over again, was always put on your big girl panties and handle it. Like, that was something that I used to tell myself all the time. So the moment that I would feel negative emotion, especially anxiety, I would say, Macy, put on your big girl panties and handle it, move on. The issue with that is that I wasn't actually honoring the anxiety that was there. I wasn't actually facing the reason that the anxiety was there. I wasn't actually exploring why it was there. I was just feeling it and thinking, oh my God, I don't want to have this. I don't want to experience this. I want to be quote unquote normal. I want to move on from this. I want to be like everybody else. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And I would go distract and I would go buffer. And we talked the last episode about, are you buffering, right? And that was my thing. I would go and I would buffer and I'd disconnect from myself, trying to escape and run away from the negative emotion that I didn't think I should be feeling. If you think you shouldn't feel the emotions that you are feeling, you're shitting on yourself. Okay? Don't shit on yourself. And I'm saying should, right? Don't should on yourself. It's just not productive. It's not productive. Don't do it. But that's what I was doing all the time. And because I was resisting my anxiety and because I wasn't looking at the actual reason I was feeling anxiety, it stayed with me way longer than it needed to. And it was unproductive for me way longer than it needed to be. Whereas when I was introduced to the world of coaching and when I realized it was okay to feel your feelings, like I remember this thing, you guys, my coach actually had to say to me, it's okay to feel your feelings. That might seem like common sense to a lot of people listening to this, or it might blow your mind. For me, it blew my mind. I was used to being the girl that handled everything. I was used to standing up and taking care of business. I was used to making sure that even if I was suffering, that all the people I loved and cared about were okay. So my mentality really was put on your big girl panties and handle whatever you need to handle with a smile on your face, as if nothing is wrong, and all of these negative things that you're feeling, shove them to the side and go handle business. And it wasn't productive. It got to the point where life felt so heavy. I was carrying so much weight on my freaking shoulders that I just felt like I was going to explode. And what it came down to was getting to a point where I truly didn't know who I was, what I wanted, when I wanted it, how I wanted it. I knew nothing about myself. I literally felt like I was outside of my body, like I didn't even own my body. I felt like I was watching my body on autopilot go through all the motions of life and not being satisfied with any of it, because I had this mentality of just handle it and don't feel your feelings. So when my coach finally was like, no, you're supposed to feel your feelings, honor what they are in that moment, and stop shooting on yourself about, I should feel this, I should feel that, I should feel this, I should feel that. No, that's not realistic. In life, 50% of the time you're going to be happy, and 50% of the time you're going to be experiencing some sort of negative emotion. Does that mean that we want you to live in the 50% negativity all the time? No, but that's realistically, you're going to experience negative emotion half the amount of time as you experience great emotion. It's about, what do you do in that moment when you're already in the negativity? Are you distracting yourself and trying to trick yourself by distraction and autopilot into the happy zone, right? The 50% of you that feels like, I just want to be happy and I'm going to put on a happy face, but you're not really there. Or can you just allow yourself to be like, today I'm having a bad day. In this moment, I'm having a bad moment. I feel sad. I feel depressed. I feel anxiety. I feel fear. I feel annoyance. I feel frustration. Whatever it is, just allow yourself to be there and lean into it. And so once I learned that it was okay for me to feel my feelings from my coach, I practiced just sitting with my negative emotion. Instead of buffering and distracting myself every time I felt negative, I just sat with it. And I would be like, okay, I'm very anxious. And I'd put my hand like on my chest, and maybe my other hand on my stomach. So my left hand on my heart and my right hand on my stomach. And I would take some deep breaths and I would say, okay, why are you having anxiety? Why is this here? Can you just sit here instead of going and folding the laundry, instead of going and cleaning the bathroom, instead of turning on the TV, instead of making yourself a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, instead of going and having a beer, instead of going in and doing whatever it is, right? Instead of going to the gym right now, even though the gym can make you feel better too because it releases happy chemicals, it's about leaning into whatever the negative emotion is in the moment. So I would say, Macy, why are you having this right now? There's nothing you need to be doing. In this moment, it is safe right now to feel your feelings, so feel them. Give yourself 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I don't care, but give yourself some time. And that's what I began to do. And so when I could sit with myself, I'd be like, okay, well, what thoughts am I having? Okay, I'm panicking about this, but that doesn't have to be done until Thursday. I'm freaking out about that. Well, I'm only freaking out about that because they're a new client, right? If I'm thinking like my OT, my pediatric OT, sometimes I would feel anxiety on Sundays because I have to go to work on Mondays. And I would get anxiety, what felt like out of nowhere, right? My body all of a sudden gives me this response that something's wrong, and then my mind is like, why is there anything wrong? I should be happy. I should feel okay. It's just Monday tomorrow. What's wrong with me? Why am I having anxiety? Why can't I be normal? And then you get stuck on this spiral. Why? And then when you're doing that, you're like, oh, let me go do something else, like watch TV or pour myself a glass of wine. Then you're buffering. You're distracting yourself. That's not leaning in. That's running. Okay? It's okay to feel the negative emotion, but what you do is you dial it back in and say, okay, I'm going to give myself some time to figure this out. So like I said, I would put my hand placements, chest and belly, take some deep breaths and say, Macy, tomorrow's Monday. Why are you freaking out? Okay. If I sat with myself long enough, I would find out that I'm a little bit anxious about going to work, just because maybe I had like a new client that day that I've never met before. And even though I don't get incredibly stressed out about that, it still is new and unfamiliar, right? My brain is being interrupted with this. My autopilot is being interrupted, and brains love autopilot. We've talked about that. So maybe having a new client means a new route that I have to drive, a new family that's going to get to know me, judge me, right? Figure out if I'm going to be the right fit for their family. And so that's bringing an onset of anxiety. And again, that comes from my thoughts of, are they going to like me? How long is it going to take to get there? Is this going to be a smooth transition from house to house like it was with my last client? So a lot of times we don't even realize what things are actually bothering us, because the moment we feel a negative emotion, we're like, oh shoot, gotta go distract. So here's what I want to tell you about the COVID-19 if you're struggling emotionally. Just allow yourself to be and feel whatever it is you're feeling. Be however you want to be, feel whatever you need to feel. There's no right or wrong way. Everybody in this situation is going through a little bit something different. There are people that are laid off that have no income and they're stressed about that. There are people that have family members that are sick, and even if it's not with COVID, there's an underlying stress of what if it could be? What if their test isn't coming back soon enough, or they don't have the means to be able to be tested because there's not enough? Some people are struggling just to still buy toilet paper. That's still a struggle. I'm seeing that in on social media. It's still a struggle getting the things that they need. For some people, they're financially okay, but they would really like to see their friends again. For some people, it's about, missing their family. And for some people, it's frustration that other people are not social distancing the way that we would all prefer, right? To keep everybody safe. There's, and then the people who are not listening to the social distancing protocol, I think a lot of that comes from them having their own anxiety and literally not knowing what to do with themselves and buffering, even at the expense of other people. That's where I really think that's coming from. I feel like for people who don't get it, they truly at this stage cannot be with themselves alone without mentally going insane. And it is at the expense of others that they are breaking all of those protocols that are being given to us. I really believe that to be true. Is it true? I don't know, but that's just my belief. I'm like, if you can't sit still in your house and not follow the advice to keep everybody safe, it's honestly because you probably can't stand being in your own skin. And I have love and compassion even for those people. Even though I would hope that they make different choices, I still can find compassion and understanding that the reason that they're not listening could be that they can't handle being with themselves. So can we send them love and light and support and just say, I understand why they're doing what they're doing. I don't agree with it. And if I could figure out how to get them to change, I would, right? Like that's what we want. I think those of us that are all doing what we're supposed to be doing in social distancing, but we can't change other people. So when you're finding yourself even getting frustrated with other people, can you just send them love and light? Okay, you all. So this episode's a little bit shorter, but I hope that it was helpful to you. Just to give you a little sneak peek of what I've got going on in case you're interested, I have my course, the Manifestation Code and Money Mastery Blueprint digital course that's going to be coming out this week. If you are someone that is really struggling around your thoughts with money, around your relationship with money, if you need a different, new, fresh perspective, I would highly recommend that you check it out. So all you have to do to stay in tune with that is to be on my social media, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, or you can check it out on my website because it will be available later this week. I'm going to have special pricing on it. Once you get the digital course, you have access to it for life. You can watch the modules as many times as you want, and you'll be added to a Facebook group specifically for people taking this course so that as more and more people sign up and join, you will have a space where you can ask questions related to this program. I can get in there and answer any questions that you have. So last but not least, if you are not in my free Facebook group called Shift, on Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, I'm going to be offering a free mini money course training. Okay, so you can get a little sneak peek of what the Manifestation Code and Money Mastery Blueprint is all about. So it'll be completely free to you. Make sure that you're in my Shift group. All you have to do is make sure that you message me on Instagram or Facebook and say, hey, I want to be in Shift if you're not already in that. And by the way, I'm so sorry if you can hear my neighbors in the background as I record this podcast. We like to have our windows open on beautiful, sunny, and kind of breezy days. And as a result of that, our house backs up right next to the neighbors. And so the kids are playing in the backyard. I don't know what they're playing, but they are like screaming and making Michael Jackson sounds, which is kind of funny. So they're having fun. But anyways, I hope that this episode helped you ride the emotional roller coaster. It's okay. Don't judge yourself. Don't should on yourself. Just be okay with where you're at and don't make yourself any different in this moment. Things are tough. It's okay to feel your feelings, lean into them. And if you need anything, just let me know what that is and I will do my best to help you. Oh, I almost forgot, you guys, before I get off here, one last thing I'm offering is distance Reiki sessions via Zoom. You can choose from a 30-minute, a 60-minute, or a 90-minute. And again, it's held online, face-to-face via Zoom. They're really awesome sessions. So if energetically you felt drained and just stressed and you're really just ready to move out of that and really be able to be assessed on, okay, here's what energy center of yours is blocked, whether that's 1 or 4, it doesn't matter. We will get you all straightened out, and they're really beneficial if you just need to kind of talk through some of your emotions to being able to clear out a lot of the energetic stuff that you're dealing with. So if you're interested in that, that is available on my website under Ways to Work Together. You just go down and click Distance Reiki, choose your option, get in touch with me. We'll schedule you. And what that'll look like is it takes about 15 minutes to assess the chakras and see the health of your chakras, which ones are blocked, which ones are open. The next 15 minutes is the Reiki session itself. So that's about a 30-minute if you just want something quick. If you do a 60-minute, you get that. Plus, I will go into detail about what each chakra blockage meant. So that means you don't have to look it up yourself. So we'll go through that together of like, okay, you had 3 chakras blocked. Here's what they are. Here's what they mean. Here's how it correlates with, your physical health and what happens if it stays blocked for long periods of time. And then if you want even more, when you do the 90-minute, you get about 30 to 35 minutes of life coaching on whatever you want. So after we've done all of the Reiki stuff, after you know what chakras have been blocked, which is so creepy how even in a distance Reiki session, it is so very accurate. A lot of people like, that extra time to just be able to talk through it and be like, okay, here's what I have going on. Can you help me through this? And so if that's more of what you're interested in, the 90-minute might be the best option for you. So that's another thing I'm offering. And again, all you have to do is go to MacyRenee.com, Ways to Work Together, click Distance Reiki, choose your option, and then get in touch with me. We'll schedule it. And I think that is it. So I hope you guys are taking care of yourself, and I will talk to you next week.